Today, you should go back and look for any areas you might need to revise some of your chalk. Look for white spaces around the edge of your papers and in between areas. For example, between your ground and your water, between your sky and your mountains, and double check that all of your colors have been blended in well. If you notice some areas that are lacking in chalk, find the color that best matches and go back and add some more on top of your paper. Add strokes of color and blend those colors in carefully with your fingers. Notice I am going back and forth with one finger right now to make sure that I am not dragging any blue onto my mountains. I'm going in a very careful and specific motion around those areas where I needed chalk. It's kind of like outlining with my finger. Then I go back and I blend in those larger areas to smooth them out. Next thing I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to cover up the fact that some of my mountain color got into my sky, so it looks dirty. I'm going to camouflage that by using a slightly darker blue. The darker blue is also going to help my mountains pop out a little bit more because there will be more contrast. Contrast is the idea that you have light versus dark, and the more contrast you have, the easier it is to see pieces. To make my mountains stand out more, I'm also going to go back with my original color and outline the edges and fill in a little bit more chalk in the middle with some strokes. I'm blending a tan color and a dark brown color, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to carefully trace that outline with my finger before I go and do the center of my mountains and smooth them out. But you can see a huge difference already in how vibrant my colors are and how smooth my chalk looks. Finally, I'm going to go back and clean up my ground because I could see all of my lines that didn't get blended in well. I'm switching the direction of my lines and using more of a crisscross pattern to help cover up those horizontal lines. I'm also blending in a horizontal motion, and I'm sometimes using a circular motion with my hands. But you'll notice that the grass is looking much smoother. If I still see some lines, for example on the bottom of my page, I might go back with a little bit more chalk to see if I could kind of blend those in a little bit further and make them look like one solid color that I've blended rather than two solid colors side by side. I'm also being careful next to my water to outline that with my finger to make sure that there's no white space in between my green and my blue. You can see the difference on the right and the left between more chalk and well blended versus not enough chalk.